So my middle school had this option when you went to the 8th grade and you were going to graduate that you could go on the 8th grade graduation trip. And it was legendary amongst the younger kids that when you got to the 8th grade, you would go to Montreal. That's where every single graduation trip was. It was really iconic. And then the year that I'm supposed to go on my graduation trip in the 8th grade, the teachers decided they just were too tired. They did not want to go to Montreal anymore. So they were going to give the kids a second option to choose from, either Montreal or a camp we're going to call Camp Sadness. And Camp Sadness looked really great, really alluring in their photos. It had an on-the-water trampoline and an on-the-water bouncy house. So it was really alluring, but at the same time, Montreal had been iconic to us growing up, so we all wanted to go to Montreal. We all silently agreed to vote for Montreal. And then we get to the assembly where the principal is going to tell us the details of our graduation trip, and he's like, all right, good news, guys. You all voted for Camp Sadness. And we're like, my ass, we voted for Camp Sadness. One girl literally raised her hand when he said, are there any questions? And she was like, yeah, literally, who wants this? Nobody wants this. And everyone was freaking out because nobody really wanted to go to this camp. But we go on the trip anyways, and the second I get off that bus, they take my phone and they take my DS, which is the closest I was going to get to Wii now that we're not going to Montreal. Anyways, the second I got off that bus, I started getting dive-bombed by little tiny bugs that flew in my eyes, nose, mouth, and ears. I got so much protein on that trip, it was ghastly. And then I also got dive-bombed by mosquitoes. My mom had refused to give me heavy duty off bug spray because she said it caused cancer. So then she gave me citronella spray that wound up smelling like perfume. So all the mosquitoes just started coming at me, and I wound up with a mosquito bite on my neck that looked like a hickey because it bruised, and people thought I got action on that trip. Anyway, so I was group 1. The second I got off that bus, they were like, group 1, go for your swim test, which was so weird because we were on the lake, but we'd already done a swim test back home in a pool. Turns out they wanted you to do a second swim test in the lake because the water was so cold you could die. Keep in mind, we're in Canada up north in March, which is cold as ass, so their water's gotta be fracking freezing. And they literally said, if you submerge yourself in the water too quickly, you could get shock and drown. So that's why we had to do a second swim test. And when I tell you I got in that water, and I wholeheartedly agree with that analysis.